So, believe it or not, I actually have had a lot of avoidant clients who really want to talk to me about their avoidance and they want to overcome it. So, let's just dispel the myth, first of all, that people who are avoidant don't ever want to heal, because that's not true. So, whenever you see me doing kind of tongue in cheek videos about people who are avoidant who don't want to work on themselves, that's that type of avoidant who just simply does not want to think about it. And they are very, very difficult to be in a relationship with. But there is another set of people who know that they're avoidant and they don't like it. They don't want to be avoidant. They don't know how to overcome it. And what I notice with these people is that they go into a relationship and they know their pattern. They know that they pull away. They know that something happens where they shut down and they can't stop it. It feels like a kind of feeling that they go, oh, that's there again. Why has that happened? I was quite enjoying this relationship. Why is it gone? Why have the feelings gone? And they can't actually help that because it happens so unconsciously. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because on the other side of it, what I hear is, I don't know what's wrong with me. They're not saying, oh, I don't want to be with that person anymore. They're saying, I've shut down. I don't know why. And now I can't feel what I felt before. And it's really annoying. And so it isn't actually about the other person a lot of the time, because a lot of the content, maybe even my content, honestly, has spoken about people who've just suddenly disappeared and, they don't want to work on themselves. And it appears like they just absolutely don't care about this. But that's not always the case. It really isn't. Sometimes people who are avoidant know that they're avoidant. They don't want to be avoidant. They just simply don't know what to do about it. And I think the journey for them is being able to be with the shutdown, actually, to not assume that that means everything or that it means what it appears to mean or feels like it means in the first place, and to sit with the discomfort of that for a while, for a bit longer. It's so confusing for people who are avoidant to overcome the avoidance, because they essentially have lost such connection to themselves that they don't know what they feel or what they think. And so there's a period when they're healing, if they want to do that, where they're guessing, like, am I supposed to be here? Am I not supposed to be here? I don't know. Like, I can't feel what I'm supposed to feel. And they really do numb out. And that can be really, really confusing. But the people who want to overcome avoidance, they know that there's something about their nervous system that's reacting in a way that maybe they don't have full control over, and that they want to heal. So they stick with it and they keep going to therapy, and they keep talking about it and they keep sharing. I think that's the most important thing, when they feel that sense of shutdown and they say, it's happening again, I've shut down, and I just need a bit of space, and they communicate what they need. And it works only if there is that level of communication available. If they can share with their partner, I'm doing that thing again, I'll be right back, I just need to regulate on my own. And then the other person gets the information, and then they know that it's okay. But also, I just wanted to share this, like I said before, because it's really easy to take it personally. It's really easy to think, they just don't like me. They don't want to be with me, and that's it. I meant nothing, because it can appear like that. And sometimes they have an absolutely terrible way of trying to express that, and they don't know how to express what's happened within them because they don't understand themselves. So I would really question, like, when you ask yourself, do they just not care about me? It's not that they don't care about you. They really are just struggling with emotionally within themselves. Sometimes what can happen, and this is the hard thing and the confusing thing, is that someone realizes, oh, actually, I don't think this relationship is right. And they just don't know how to say that. And then the other person is left going, what happened? I thought we were good. But because they have an avoidant tendency, or they're, struggle with conflict or something, they don't say it, they don't share it, and then the other person doesn't get the closure or the completion. And so the other person is left in this limbo land of, was it me or was it them? Did they want to be with me or not? I don't understand. Maybe they're going to come back. And that's really, really, really hard to be in that place. But either way, I think if somebody leaves and disappears because they have shut down, or they've done the thing where they've, I don't know, ghosted or gone away or whatever, or they've said, I can't do this for whatever reason, you have to take it at face value. You have to take it as it is. You don't have to think, are they going to go to therapy? Are they going to do it? Because that's on them for them to figure out. And I know that you will think that anyway. You'll wonder and you'll want to know, but you've got to kind of take things as they are, like this person as they are. Can you imagine being with them as they are in 10 years' time, like with the way they cope with life and emotions right now? Because the only way that relationships really work is if they're all in for the healing. They're all in for overcoming it. They're all in for sticking it out through the messy middle and the discomfort. Other than that, you have to assume that they are not ready to do that. And that's really, really difficult because you want for them to feel safe enough with you. And there's nothing, you see, that's the thing I think with people who are highly empathetic, where they get confused is they think, I can make this person feel safe enough. And it's not your job to do it. And sometimes you can be the safest, nicest, calmest person in the world, and they still won't feel safe or ready to do it, you know? I think there was an analogy or a story that someone said, maybe it was from Sex and the City, where she was talking about how someone was talking about how if a man is not ready, or and let's just say if anyone isn't ready, whether they're a man or a woman, if they're not ready, the most beautiful, incredible person can be standing at the side of the road waiting to get in the taxi, but the light will be on red. It's not open. It's not going to open for anyone if they're not ready. But later down the line, the light will go green and they're available because they're available, not because the other person wasn't beautiful, or the other person wasn't amazing or an incredible person or whatever. So it's really easy to take it personally, but if someone's not ready, they're just not ready. And also the journey to overcoming avoidance, as I've seen with my clients, is really hard, and they need a lot of compassion. And it's an honor, honestly, when someone who's avoidant comes to me and says they want to talk to me about it, because I think, wow, that's like great that you want to do that. And they just need the safety to be like, yeah, of course you feel like that, you know, like with no obligation, with no like, you need something back from me, which someone on the other side of the relationship does want something back. You do want something back, because otherwise it would just be not a relationship, you know? So you really do want them to get it. You do want them to like get it quickly so that the relationship can progress. And that can be stressful for someone who's avoidant. And it creates this really big shutdown. People who are fearful avoidant massively struggle with this because they've got a really complicated attachment system where they're, you know, they don't want to lose the person, yet they also don't want to get close. So they're in like a double bind there. And that is like a push pull, push pull, push pull thing, which is really hard to be on the other side of. And it needs to be, you know, a very steady environment for that to heal and for them to eventually realize they're safe enough to open up. But a lot of people who are avoidant struggle with authentically being themselves. They think they're going to be rejected for who they really are. And they think that the worst things about them are going to be the things that push people away. But people on the other side of that want to love those parts of them. And they just can't be with that. And you tend to notice with people who are avoidant in relationships that how they do one thing is how they do everything. So where they mask themselves in relationships, they often mask themselves in their business or at work or with their family or something in some way. And so it's not just you. But I thought I'd share this for some insight about the other side of this and to remind you that it's not your fault. If you'd like any more information about what I do, I've got lots of things on my website. I've got my perfect replies to an avoidant ebook. I've got my workshop coming up, how to just stop losing yourself in love, 1-to-1 if you ask me via email. And if not, then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.